In the beginning, there was radio.
The radio is one of the outstanding developments of the 20th century.
A radio transmitter was used for large-scale public entertainment.
Then came computers.
You gotta keep up with the times, you know.
Imprints of man's never-ending path of progress.
Back in my day, we didn't have no fancy computer boxes to use.
Shall we play a game?
The internet tied it all together.
The internet gave us a whole world of exciting new possibilities.
A bright new era dawning. A new dimension in communications.
It is possible to establish communication instantaneously from any place at any time.
And now it's the 21st century, and we've made it all toxic.
Hold on to your hats. Okay, we're ready to roll.
This is Toxic Radio. Don't play it safe. Play it toxic.
That's what I'm talking about.
Planning your Saturday night can be a bit of a bitch.
Saturday night is the loneliest night in the week.
Well, it doesn't have to be. Load up Toxic Radio every Saturday night for the heavy metal happy hour. With the one and only Fishman.
I know that, dude.
There will be interviews, ticket giveaways, a little bit of banter with Toxic Mike, and of course great metal from the 80s all the way through today. Starts at 7 p.m., runs until Fish says it's over.
Everyone turn out!
Catch it only on Toxic Radio. Don't play it safe. Play it toxic. Hey guys, dating life going pretty shitty?
I find you so creepy, I think you should have to walk around with a bell around your neck.
Finding yourself getting a little desperate for some female companionship?
Alexa, tell me you love me.
Hell no. You disgust me.
What you need is to upgrade your style right now. The Toxic Store's got exactly what you need. Pick up some stylish gear featuring Deviant Gamer, Toxic Radio, and the Heavy Metal Happy Hour.
Oh, yeah!
You can find the store through the Toxic Radio app or toxicradio.net. Get in the game.
Do I make you horny, baby?
Get yourself a little love.
That guy's getting boobies. Yeah, he is.
Toxic Radio and the Toxic Store. Don't buy it safe. Buy it toxic.
Welcome to Show 42, Wire2Wire Sports. I'm your host, Gene Walzak. And to my right, I got the man, the myth, the legend, the uncle, Shally.
What's going on?
What's happening back home? To my left, I got Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, and second place in today's three-point contest, Cottrell Simpson.
Not the first one.
I mean,
not the one that mattered.
That's
3-1, bro.
That's a lot of shade to open this.
I'm just busting his chops.
Yeah, I mean, when I was fresh, I took him out.
He did.
Pretty
he won
handily.
the first one. He did one. All right, so Show 42, Show Jackie Robinson. Maybe we'll all wear 42.
Fat Kevin Love show, baby.
Nah, man.
Fat Kevin Love.
There's no other 42. That's it. We got a lot to go over, though, so I can't waste any time giving you a too long of an intro. We got the Olympics. We got the video game bracket. We got the NBA draft. We got the MLB trade deadline. We got the NHL trades. We got the NFL lines. We got everything this week. So guess what? We're not going to waste any time. Let's get started. Biggest topic right now is the Olympics. There's no way we can lead with anything other than the Olympics. Two biggest topics are USA men's basketball and Simone Biles. Got to start with Simone Biles. Have to. Biggest topic anywhere. We're a sports show. Got to talk about it. So let's get started. Simone Biles, obviously, you've seen everything that came out. She exited the team competition due to her mental health. And just yesterday, which I thought was a great, regardless of her mental health, I thought it was a great thing to see that she exited the individual brackets. I don't want her competing if her mental health is that bad. I don't want her even competing any forward. I want her to take care of everything that's going on. But I want to talk about that because there's a lot of, you literally get this 50% across the board. What your thoughts are on Simone Biles, what your thoughts are on her exiting the competition for Team USA. Some people are calling it selfish. Some people are calling it egotistical, sociopathic. Some people are talking about mental health, saying she did the right thing. She could really harm herself. So it's got to be a topic that we talk about. So I'll start. I have no problem putting my... I thought it would have been a really bad look if she competed in the individuals.
And the optics for that would have been terrible. She couldn't compete in the individual. I mean, then it really becomes then she's there for herself, and that wouldn't have been a road they wanted to go down.
Here's a fact. I do not know what is going on in Simone Biles' head. I do not know what's going on in her life. I do not know what she is dealing with currently. So there's no way I could ever trash her. Like, I would never do that. With that being said, just judging from an outsider's perspective, looking at it, it almost looked like a panic attack. It looked like she just didn't have it. She looked scared. It almost looked like a panic attack. And if she had a panic attack, she definitely couldn't compete. With that being said, it is very notable. There's a lot of things that went on in Simone Biles' life from when she was 12 to now. With gymnastics, with that scumbag, I'm not going to bring him up, with a lot of different things that could happen in life. And I just at least wanted to give the floor to you guys and get your thoughts on it. Cottrell, why don't you start us off on this topic?
So my whole thing with the Simone Biles thing, I think she did the right move for her. If she felt like she couldn't compete at the highest level, I mean, you saw it in the prelims for the team events that she wasn't her normal self. Yes, her scores were high, but to her standards, her scores were not where we thought that they would be. If you watch the team events, you would see that she had different fouls that led to penalties where she was, off the mat, or, she just wasn't landing the stuff that we're used to seeing her land. She just clearly wasn't herself. As for the idea of her being selfish for it, that part of it, I don't understand either, because Team USA, as we all know, they go as she goes. So she can't win a gold medal without performing. And yes, they still won silver, which is nothing to sneeze at, but the expectation was winning a gold medal. So if she is a selfish individual and she's only thinking about herself, wouldn't she want to get another gold medal? Wouldn't she want to, have the highest scores going in the individual events and, just having that momentum to build off of? So I don't really buy into the whole, selfish act. And by her dropping the individuals, I think that now people even realize even more like, oh, this is real. Like, she's not even going to compete. She went all the way to Tokyo and she had prelims for a team event, and now she's just done. So I think people should realize that this is like real, and she's got some stuff going on that she is taking care of. So I think she's doing the right thing right now.
Bill, what are your thoughts?
I kind of agree with a lot of some, at least somewhat of what you both said. I think it's something bigger than that. The more I thought about it today, to your point, she's been in the spotlight since she was 12 years old. She's dealt with all this. She's dealt with a lot of other stuff. She's been, again, we don't want to mention his name, but she was one of the first ones to come out and, attach her name to that, saying she was abused by him when she was in training with the Olympic program. I still think it's something bigger. I just either that or something happened in her life that triggered all this. That she's been dealing with COVID now for the last almost 3 years. I don't think her performing in that situation with no fans, with the pressure of being isolated with the team, that stuff's never bothered her. She's regarded as the GOAT because, on top of dealing with all that, she still does what she does. She's been the face of gymnastics for, again, going on, better part of 8 years. She's the best to ever do it. For all that to come up and literally hit her out of nowhere, that just seems a lot to me, and that's because I think so highly of her. With the pressure she's performed under her whole life, to warm up her vault and not stick it perfectly twice, and then 2 minutes later drop out, that seems like a lot for me. So
I have a feeling that a lot more is going to come out.
Agree. I don't like being the tinfoil hat guy. I never do. But I think there's more to this that's going to come out down the road that's going to make this make a lot more sense for a lot more people.
The one thing that I think hasn't been brought up enough is that these athletes are, well, Simone Biles specifically, she's been to the Olympics before. Those other times that she's had her family with her. She's had supporters there. Like, even if she was having like some sort of, mental breakdown, she would have more support there. She's there now with she's just with her teammates and her coach.
She said that she had her counselor with her before.
Yeah, so, a lot of that is missing right now, due to COVID and everything with the Olympics. So I think that's a big part of, what's going on.
It could be. Like I said, the only thing that it's still, I would say, makes the antenna go up. She went through Worlds and she went through U.S. championships in the same conditions almost. So again, for me, for it just seems a lot to come out of nowhere where this has never been let on before. She's never had an issue like this. For her then to go to the Olympics and be pretty much under the same conditions, for it all to pop up out of nowhere, it just seems a lot. That's why I just feel like there's going to be something that's going to come out, have it be a week from now, 2 weeks from now when the Olympics are over, that something else happened or something triggered this, just because of the way she conducts herself, the way she carries herself, for all intents and purposes, the human being that she is on and, in the sport and out of it, it just seems like a lot to come out of nowhere for me. That's why I think something else happened to her that she just doesn't want out there yet.
Buddy brought up a really good point, and it's been talked about multiple times. It's if she's not in the right place mentally and her mind or her body aren't in sync, she's risking serious injury with the things that she attempts to do. Mm-hmm. So it's not like a golfer getting the yips because there's no risk of injury there. Really good point, buddy.
Just to play devil's advocate to what you said, though, Bill, I feel like with her competing at the world championships, things like that, that's still not the stage that the Olympics is. So, people who like gymnastics or want to tune in to see Simone Biles, they'll tune into that. But Simone Biles is competing on NBC, and that's a whole different platform than what the World Championships is. So, and there's so much more added pressure to her for the Olympics. I think that could play a part in it as well.
Gymnastics, the Worlds are literally
for them it is.
It's like a miniature Olympics.
For them it is. I'm not discounting that at all. I'm just saying
insider information, Audia on the wire line. She's dealing with something internally that she doesn't want to be in the spotlight, and it's important for her to take that time regardless of what the public thinks. So I think she knows Simone personally because she's got it. I mean, that's got to be what it is.
And again, I agree with Audia. I think it's something, and I think it'll come out eventually. I don't think she wants to talk about it now on that stage because obviously if she does, she's gonna get asked a million questions.
Right, takes away from her team. She doesn't want that. So, adds more to it.
This is going to be something that's going to be to be continued, I think. And
agreed. So let's move on to a little bit more lighter topic. United States basketball team looks like they got on track last night versus Iran, winning a game by 54 points, which is what we're used to seeing with Team USA. Now, regardless of how bad Iran is, regardless of how bad that situation is, when United States, the talent differential, it looked differently. They shot the ball better. They switched. They switched way better on defense. I stayed up till 2 a.m. watching that game. I turned it off when they were up 40. I think I got the hang of it at that point. But I still don't give them any pass for how awful they've looked. You can't lose to Evan Fournier dropping 28. And the one point I'll make, and I'll get to you guys' opinions in a minute, is I can't stand how, listen, Kevin Durant deserves all the spotlight he's getting, but another player that to me that drives me nuts that isn't getting any talk about is Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard's played awful, and in 2 out of their 3 losses, I looked it up. You were right. One out of 3 losses, he wasn't awful, but 2 out of 3 losses, he shot terrible. Mm-hmm. And by the way, what's up, John? I appreciate you checking in on the wire line. Toxic family, toxic alum. I love it. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, I said it earlier. It doesn't move the needle for me either way. I mean, if this is a normal team, USA basketball playing like they normally do, they should beat Iran by 45. You're playing guys that are mid-major Division I talent at best. Those guys aren't anywhere near professional athletes. They're from Iran, where there's no funding. Like, if you go against like the country or the Olympic program, like, they'll kill you. Like, that's not a basketball powerhouse.
So Cottrell brought up something earlier in our chat.
I'm not hanging my head on that. Like, if they go out and beat France by 40, then I'm like, okay, like, maybe they're figuring it out. That game does nothing for me, because they should beat Iran by 45.
They're going to kill Czech Republic too, because they
Correct.
stink too.
So they should beat those teams.
So my question would be, Cottrell brought this up in our chat earlier. Me, you, Kevin the Troll, Cottrell, and Kevin Durant versus Iran. Who wins?
I mean, I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you this. I mean, they'll beat us. I would say, like, we'll probably keep it closer than the game was last night.
That's
can we trade Kevin for Taurasi? Because then I'm all in. Like,
Taurasi. If I got Taurasi and Durant, we're in good shape.
Yeah, I'm going to start laying money on it then.
Cottrell, what's your thoughts on Team USA?
So Team USA, I'm kind of leaning towards agreeing with Bill. I just feel like this team right now, there's so many question marks on it. And I was telling Eugene earlier today, I just feel like this team wasn't built for success. They don't have a guy that can truly run that offense. Yes, Dame is a point guard, but he's not the facilitator for that offense. And they're trying to run this Popovich system with all these guys who are used to playing ISO ball, and it's just not working.
Bingo.
And they could have gotten better bigs for the Olympic team, but they didn't. I mean, Bam Adebayo, he's great big, but you got guys like Miles Turner and Julius Randle sitting at home when they could have added tremendous help for this team. And they were having issues with rebounds. I understand France has Rudy Gobert, but you can't let France out-rebound you when, the team that you're putting out there. So
you can't miss that many wide-open shots.
I mean, that
and
too.
Look, I'll tell you right now, I disagree there. And here's my point, ready? Okay? And I follow your point that they don't have a true facilitator. They don't have, like, a point guard on their team. I get it. But it is unbelievable how many shooters they have on that team for them to miss so many wide open shots. Like, they can't shoot that terrible wide open.
They're not running an offense, though. No one's in a rhythm.
They're shooting wide open.
I understand that. They're not running an offense. That's my point.
What offense do you need to run to have somebody not within 3 feet of you and you're
Why don't you
Devin Booker,
instead of
Damian Lillard,
instead of jacking up 43s, why don't you run offense where you get people wide open layups, or you have people running backdoor cuts to get to the rim? Like, there's other things you could do besides shoot open 3 balls.
It's literally my second point. And again, I think, I don't want to say it's part of the problem, but I mean, Cottrell hit it right on the head for me. You have a bunch of guys that are used to running offenses through them, playing ISO ball, taking guys one-on-one.
It happens every year when we run the Olympics.
That's not true.
That's not true at all.
It's not true at all.
It's not true
it's
at
not
all.
Even close to true.
When you had guys like Kobe, LeBron, and D-Wade and all those guys, they were throwing lobs to each other all the time.
The
Pick and
offense
roll
doesn't run through them on normal teams. So the offense didn't run through Kobe. The offense didn't run through LeBron. The offense didn't run through Carmelo.
No, they did run through LeBron, but the problem is that they actually know how to.
Correct. Kobe would sit there and alley-oop to LeBron. LeBron will pass the ball. Those guys will pass.
Exactly.
These guys want to dribble down the court and chuck up threes. That's why it's not working.
So you're saying the mentality is wrong.
You have a bunch of me-first guys trying to run an offense for a coach who is literally the definition of team basketball. It ain't working.
Look, I follow your points. I do. I can't look at the talent disparity and say, like,
go back and watch one of those games and then turn one of these games back on and tell me they're the same.
I've watched tons of.
So they're the same.
Basketball.
So
no,
they're
they're not the same.
Okay, that's our
they're
point.
They're not playing well together. You're correct. But in every Olympic team, so then that gets put more on Pop then.
No, it gets put on the players. Because when you go to the Olympics and Kobe Bryant's buying in, LeBron James is buying in, and so forth and so on, everybody follows suit and runs the offense.
They bought into Coach K.
Okay.
Maybe Pop's not getting a buy-in from those guys.
Again,
hey, listen, for Pop, and not for nothing, Pop has been known for years and years and years. The only superstar he ever got to really buy into him was Tim Duncan. And I'm not trying to be a smartass. He's a great coach of good players. He's a great system coach. But anytime there's a superstar or star player there, not really Pop.
Who could you not say that about?
Kawhi Leonard, DeMar DeRozan.
Kawhi Leonard won a finals there and finals MVP.
You're right. As he came up and he wanted to get out of it, he wanted to get away from Pop.
Yeah, as they mishandled his injury history. That's a whole separate issue.
It has nothing to do with Pop or his coaching.
It has a lot to do with Pop. He doesn't like Pop at all.
All right.
He doesn't. Any other comments on Team USA? Do you think they'll still win the gold?
I mean, the odds on them have dropped like dramatically.
They're still minus money.
Yeah, but they were like minus, like there was no point in betting money on them before, and now it's
okay. So the bettors are listening. Do you think they'll win gold? Do you taking Team USA or the field?
It's hard not to take the field right now.
Give me the field.
I'll take Team USA. I don't care how bad Iran is. They looked different last night. They were switching perfectly. The defense is the last thing that comes. Vince Carter said it last night. They look differently. They're switching better, and they obviously shot the ball way better. Yeah. Like in the first quarter, he scored 28 points and 24 of them are threes.
There you go. They're gonna live and die by it.
I mean, listen, hopefully they don't die by it.
They play a good team and they don't shoot well. They're gonna go home.
Speaking of NBA, we got the draft coming up 2 days. I don't, let's do what we did last year. Give me your top 3 picks. What do you think they'll do? Where do you think they'll go? And then if you think there'll be a trade, if you think there'll be a big move. I got a banger for you too, and I might look like an asshole next week. That's fine. Why don't you start, Chal? You got one?
A trade? Is that what you want?
Trade, top 3 picks, anything you think will be out of the norm for the NBA draft.
I mean, Cade's going to go number 1. I mean, I think that's pretty much set in stone. I can't see, them not taking him at this point. I mean, Oklahoma City offered what's
Shea in the 6 pick.
Shea in the 6, and Detroit was like, no, we're good. I wouldn't have done that either. But I think Green's probably going to go 2.
I hope not.
Yeah, I know. You want them on the Cavs.
I do.
Yeah.
You're getting stuck in the same position that the 76ers were when D'Angelo Russell went to, when he wasn't expected to, and we got stuck with Jahlil Okafor.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen.
And then, I mean, by all accounts, it looks like Mobley's going to go 3, and I think that's going to be a bad pick. But, I mean, we agree on that. I think he's going to be an okay pro. I don't think he's, going to be.
It's a good fit for Cleveland either, especially if they want to keep Jared Allen.
Agreed. I still think Jalen Suggs has the ability to be the best player in this draft. I think it's going to either end up being him or Cade.
That's interesting. The Jalen Suggs part's interesting. Let me tell you why. Because Toronto is rumored with one of those 76ers trades, right? And they got Fred VanVleet. Kyle Lowry is basically going to be a sign trade player. He probably won't be there next year.
Nope.
So you don't have a point guard. Jalen Suggs looks like he'll be the 4th pick to Toronto. VanVleet's got money on the books there as a point guard. Could a VanVleet and Suggs backcourt work?
I think so. I mean, it's probably not ideal for them, but it's one of those things. Is VanVleet your answer if you're trying to build a championship team? Do you think he's the guy, and do you want to pass on Jalen Suggs? And that's a hard question to answer for me. I wouldn't. I think the kid's great. I mean, we
love him.
Talked about it ad nauseam on the show during NCAA basketball season. I love the kid. I thought he was the best player on that team by far. And Cade is probably the only person in the draft I would consider taking over him.
Jalen Green's close. I watched
he's
a
close.
ton of him.
He's close. I'll take Suggs' all around game for me.
I love Suggs' mentality. He's very humble.
Yep.
Heard an interview of him recently where he basically said, I don't care where I go. I'm going to embrace that city. I watched what happened in Milwaukee, and it's, they embraced their team, and I want to be part of that.
Mark Few already said he's one of the most coachable kids he's ever met in his life. That's what you want. If you're taking a kid that high that you're going to, in theory, build your team around, you want somebody that's coachable, that's going to buy in, that wants to make that run for the city. He's saying all the right things. I love the kid. So for me
and you both, bro. Me and you both. What do you think, Charles?
So I got my favorite prospects here outside of Cade Cunningham. My number 1 favorite prospect, Jalen Green. You guys already mentioned a ton of them. Number 2, Jonathan Kuminga is another guy who played in the G League. He's a forward, tweener kind of guy. That's not necessarily 3 and D. I think he can be that though. I feel like this kid has so much talent that his floor, to me, is like an Andrew Wiggins type player, whereas his ceiling is like Jaylen Brown. I think if he can overcome he's a streaky shooter right now at best, but I love his athleticism. I love how he gets to the hole. I think that he could be a really good player in the league. And then the last one is Davion Mitchell. I think that's a guy who He showed up in the
Baylor kid.
NCAA tournament. Yep, Baylor,
Yeah.
3 all day long. I think he could be really special in the
Off
league.
night, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love
Off
that
night.
nickname. It's the best nickname in sports.
David Mitchell is my sleeper.
You want to talk about a guy that's going to translate to the next level? That defense translates anywhere.
Yep. He can shoot, play defense, and he's just going to get his
And he's got an attitude.
Yeah,
and I love that.
His offensive game will just continue to develop. It'll be more of an all around game once he gets in the NBA.
I think the best nickname ever.
Yeah, it's up there. And again, he's pretty much rumored to go anywhere between like 13 and 18. Somebody's going to get a steal with him down there.
The thing is, I think somebody might even, essentially jump the gun, and I think they're going to go after him early just because of the potential of the kid.
Yeah.
I will say outside the top 4, I would say top probably 5 or 6 maybe. Other than that, I don't think anybody knows where anybody's going in this draft. I think there's so many guys that are so close. I saw a mock draft today with Wagner going 7th. And
I think there's going to be some big trades.
And that's insanity to me. I love the kid. He's a Michigan kid, but him going 7th is insanity to me.
Well, him and the kid from Zaga.
Corey Kispert.
Yeah, those two should not sniff the top 10. And they might.
Yeah.
What am I missing? They both stink.
Kispert.
They don't stink.
They don't stink.
Wagner has the ability to develop.
He's a project, though.
He's very good defensively. Again, he's a project. I'm not taking a project on my 7th pick.
Correct.
Kispert, I think, is I said it before.
He's Nick Stauskas 2.0.
I was going to say, if Kispert...
He's Grace. Yeah, he's a poor man. He's going to flame out.
If Kispert turns out to be a consistent shooter, I feel like his ceiling, his absolute ceiling, is Duncan Robinson. And I'm not taking that kind of player in the lottery. I can't do that.
Duncan Robinson, and that would be a very high ceiling because he doesn't shoot nowhere near that.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Duncan Robinson can shoot with a hand in his face.
I'm aware.
Corey Kispert can't.
I'm aware. That's what I'm saying.
And we found that out in the tournament.
I think
as soon as there was a team that could.
Yep.
And I said, I know I said it, and Gene said it too. Before we even got to the tournament, I said as soon as they play a team that has somebody that can run with him and stay in front of him, he's going to struggle, and he did. He fell apart.
He did.
I said the Gonzaga whole team ran through Jalen Suggs and Timmy.
Yeah, him and Jalen Suggs and Timmy kept that team afloat in the tournament because Kispert disappeared.
The one thing that I did want to bring up too, I did have 2 sleepers for you guys.
Good, I love it.
It's a guy we've mentioned before during the NCAA tournament, Jason Preston, Ohio University's point guard. This is a guy, 6'3" kid, he can literally do it all. Scores from
everywhere.
Exactly. Everywhere. Rebounds, can run your offense. I think that'll be a great pick for somebody in the second round. The other kid is a guard from Arizona State, Josh Christopher. This is a 3-level scorer. He's athletic. He can shoot the ball.
Give him 2K ratings?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. 3-level scorer.
He can fill it up from all over. I think that'll be another great addition for somebody in the second round. And then just players to look out for to be on the move. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Miles Turner are 2 names that might be on the move tomorrow night.
Do you have any trades?
I think Golden State's going to do something.
So do I.
And that's why it's funny that I keep seeing Wagner going to them at 7th. I do think if he goes there, it's a very good fit for him for what like how they play. He'll fit there. I think they're trading out of 7 though.
I got news for Sixers fans.
I think
Ben Simmons won't make it through draft night. He will not make it through draft night in a Sixers uniform. By the time next week when we're talking, Ben Simmons will not be a 76er.
I know it came out today.
Mark that shit down. Gene Wall's like exclusive.
They were
TikTok it.
They were
that's what the kids do, right?
They were talking again. They started taking offers again, but everybody's report from Woj to everybody said the asking price is astronomical. So
hey, start high. Sales 101.
Start really high, bro.
Hey, you start really high and you settle on something.
Again, if somebody blows them away, I think they'll do it. I said that from the get-go. I do not think they're going to do it for a trade that doesn't knock your socks off just for the sake of moving them. I still think they believe in him enough that if they don't get exactly what they want, he's not leaving here.
Hey, Mr. Brister, listen, I'll make something very clear for you. If the 76ers don't move Ben Simmons by game 1, I will be at their opening night as close as I can get to the court. And I will be thrown out of that game by halftime because I will harass him the entire night. The entire night until they throw me out of the building. I will be gone by halftime. Mark that shit down. I promise you. He better be moved. He cannot.
He's going to drop 42,
cannot.
shoot 4 of 6
I don't
from
care.
3.
Don't care.
Then you'll look like
Don't care.
The bad guy.
Yeah, I know when he shoots 3 of 10 from the line and doesn't shoot the ball, then I won't look at the bad guy.
Yeah,
I'll look
but
like the guy who knows what the hell he's talking
They're
about.
not going to care about that game
And
one,
by the way,
though.
Ben Simmons, if this ever gets to you, whatever you want, dude, whatever you want, play me in a 3-point contest. I will whoop your ass in a 3-point contest. Period.
So
Facts. I think Ben Simmons is traded on draft night. I think Golden State makes a move. I think there's going to be a lot of trades at this draft. I really do. I think a lot more than normal, so be ready for it. By the way, if anybody at home's listening that wanted to know what off night was, that didn't listen to us in the NCAA forum, his nickname, Davion Mitchell's nickname is off night because when he guards your guards your best player,
has an off night.
he has an off night. I love that.
right
Give me
there.
that nickname all day.
It's right up there with Slim Reaper.
Okay, so can't stay too much on NBA.
My bold prediction is Bradley Beal is a Golden State Warrior by the end of the
Oh,
draft.
my goodness.
Dude, that would be ugly.
That's my
I don't
bold
know
prediction.
why they want this 3-guard weird system with him, Clay, and
What do
They
you
can
mean?
run. They can run small ball and then have Draymond and James Wiseman.
It's gonna be
and
like
just-
playing like Call of Duty, dude. They're gonna bomb you to death.
Oh, I know.
They're gonna bomb you back to the Stone Age.
Thing is, Klay Thompson 6'7". He can guard most threes
Yeah.
in the league right now. So
guess.
if he's healthy,
You get you get a super motivated
Steph
Bradley
and
Beal
can't
and Golden
play
State.
a lick of
They
defense.
don't have to. They're scoring 80 points between the two of them every game.
Petey told me terrible prediction. We'll find out next week.
For which one?
I don't know.
Probably
the
Ben
Ben Simmons
Simmons.
one.
I don't think he gets traded to draft. I'm not saying he doesn't get traded. I don't think he gets traded
He's
draft
gone.
night,
He
though.
won't be on an open night. I'll promise you that.
Well, it's two different things. I'm
I
saying.
know. I think he gets traded Friday.
I
That's
don't
my
think
opinion.
I don't think it's traded. It's tomorrow, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Tomorrow.
Whatever. Speaking of Friday, you want to get into that right now?
Let's
Or
go.
NHL?
No, let's do some baseball.
Okay. MLB trade deadline is Friday. A big one just happened before we got on the air.
Apparently,
You
it's
want to know
not.
how unscripted this shit is? Joey Gallo to the Yankees, if you didn't know already.
Now you know.
And now I will break it down for you because without paperwork. You want to talk about bomber with a short right field porch? That is a trade. That's a great trade for Cashman.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see what they still gave up. That hasn't come out yet, but I mean, I can't imagine them getting him for free. But I mean, again, it's a huge move for the Yankees. I guess the theory is they're going to try to play him in center, which I don't know how that works, but he's not going to be terrible there, but he's going to be average at best. He's just not a center
The
fielder.
Bronx Bombers live up to their name.
They are, but they got all these huge muscle dudes that get hurt all the time. So, I mean, the big thing with them is it's a left-handed bat. Again, who hits if you don't really know who Joey Gallo is, YouTube him. He routinely hits the ball 450 all the time.
We can't even put Petey's pictures up anymore.
Why?
Look at the picture. Petey, yeah, I think Scherzer does get traded, just to be clear with you. I think he does, especially with this COVID thing, because if Washington really feels like they're going to be out of it and they're missing 12 players for 10 days.
I mean, they've lost 6 or 7. I mean,
my point.
so
I think
if they were going to convince to buy or sell, I mean, it is now. You're going to have to. Again, he's under contract for another couple years too. The haul you're going to have to give up to get him. It's going to be a matter. It's going to be a team that's ready to win that doesn't mind giving up their top 2 or 3 prospects plus somebody from the major league level. But the thing with him is he's the biggest name. He is the biggest game changer on the list of people that get traded. If he gets traded to a team that's in the mix of it or close to the top, he completely changes that race, whatever race that team's in. He's a bona fide number 1. There's a lot of rumbles that the Dodgers are going to try to get him because their pitching staff is falling apart. Well, Bauer, Clayton, Kershaw hasn't pitched in a month and a half now. They're down to.
I felt like he hasn't pitched all season.
They're down to Bueller and
Just kidding.
Bueller and Urias right now.
Bueller's my guy. Urias my guy too.
Bueller might sneak up and win the Cy Young if DeGrom doesn't come back soon, or it could be Scherzer. But Dodgers, I think, are a team to watch for Scherzer because obviously they won't mind taking the money on. But I would like to see him get traded. I'd like to see him get out of Washington. Because I want him out of the division, and
it's funny because when we talked about pitchers in preseason, I remember you said this might be Max's last season.
Yeah,
being an elite pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he didn't have a good start to the season either.
No.
I mean, opening day, I think he got shelled. But it's you just don't know. I would like to see him get traded.
Before we talk about the Phillies, because we're going to, any big moves you like?
Yeah, so speaking of Max Scherzer, I think that he's going to be on his way to L.A., but not the Dodgers. I think the Angels, they make a move, they get Scherzer, and they get that ace. It gets a little bit pressure off Ohtani, and this is the start of them trying to win now. I think that's a move that, most people probably wouldn't see coming. It's unlikely, but
the problem with that is they're 50 and 51.
No, they are.
They're behind Oakland. They're behind Houston.
But I think with Scherzer on the team, if they can get into the wild card this year and then next year they go, they push their chips all in and try to win now with Ohtani, with Trout, with all those guys there, I think that team can be good. They're just missing pitching, and why not go get the best pitcher on the market right now?
I hear you. I just think they're missing a lot of pitching.
They are.
Yeah,
I do agree with you.
They are a top 10 farm system, though, so they could do it.
They're one of the few teams that have the pieces to do it. And if you're going into a playoff, if they make the playoffs, or you're going into a series, that's you're going him, Ohtani.
You figure it out.
Yeah, I mean,
at least try to. Other couple names that I wanted to, I think gets moved. Javi Baez to the Mets. I think that'd be a fun one. Just depends on how long Lindor is out. What kind of haul the Mets would want.
You got the wrong Cub going in the Mets. I think the other one's going there.
I think his boy Chris Bryant. I got him going to the Braves. I think they're going to have him going to the outfield with the Braves.
Chris Bryant's
replacing Acuna.
Coming to this division. It's a matter of what team he's going.
I think he's going to the Mets.
And then I got the Brewers going after Trevor Story.
That would be interesting.
Those are the four guys I got on the
they're
move.
Take on Milwaukee's.
Muck the Fets, Petey. Muck the Fets. Come on, we gotta be PC here.
I don't know. That would be an interesting trade. The crazy thing was Story. There was a lot of people that thought Story was going to the Yankees, and I think with them just getting Gallo, I think that probably takes them out on that. Which really limits the teams he could go to. So maybe Milwaukee sneaks in and gets him.
I think Milwaukee's known for doing this. Anytime they're in a pennant race, they make a big move. Remember CeCe? Let's go back all the way to CeCe.
Yeah, but
they do this a lot.
Yeah. You're again. He's going to cost a lot, and he's a rental. The one thing with Scherzer is you can give up a lot for Scherzer, but you have him for the next couple of years.
Yes.
Story, you're literally getting him until September, and I don't think he's going to resign.
The thing is, though, with the Brewers is why not? I think this can be their year to win it all. So why not go all in?
Now with the city of Milwaukee tasting a championship.
Yeah,
and like that overwhelming, like
especially knowing that the Dodgers aren't at full strength, because before it just seemed like the Dodgers were going to be this juggernaut, and it was, the NL was going to go through them. But with them not being healthy,
I got news for you. I more and more think it's going to be a San Diego Milwaukee NLCS.
Could be.
I more and more feel that way.
And if that's how you feel, why not go get Story?
Here's the only problem with San Diego. They play like dog shit away from Petco. They do not play good baseball away from Petco. I don't know if they have the pitching. That's the thing. You go up against Milwaukee, I'll take Milwaukee in that series. The only problem with Milwaukee is they struggle hitting sometimes, but they absolutely have the pitching staff to win the World Series. I don't know. I'm telling you, the Dodgers, I mean, if the Giants keep winning, I mean, there's a chance the Dodgers don't make the playoffs unless the Bauer thing there's a resolution there and they get Clayton back. If that happens, it's a whole different boat.
Bauer won't pitch another game for the Dodgers. You called that perfectly when it first got brought up.
Yeah, I mean,
Bauer's done.
I think it's looking more and more that way.
They have so much money, they don't mind just dumping. They're like, I don't want them. They don't want that name. They don't want it.
They're really technically, again, he's only under a 1-year contract. Next year was an option anyway, so they can't literally walk away from him after this year regardless. So
they're done with him.
It's going to be. I do like the NBA. I think stuff's going to move this year.
Frisky.
Frisky.
So Phillies, real quick. So what do you think the Phillies should do? Bill, you'll start. Control, you go second, because I'm going to finish with my negative ass. Telling the truth.
I actually think Chris Bryant's going to end up here. I think the Harper connection. He put the little Easter egg there out there the other night, swinging one of his bats. They got caught on camera. No secret at all. They are very good friends, and he checks a lot of boxes for us for what we need right now. You could argue the fact if we should buy or sell. I know that's what you're going to go into. There's a lot of people feel the same way you do. But if you are going to go for it and try to win the division, again, Washington's falling apart. New York is beyond banged up, and Atlanta lost their best player. So if you're going to go for it,
PD's the best.
What do you say?
Hope Shelley's right for once.
Yeah. I think there's a good shot Chris Bryant ends up here Friday.
I hope not.
You don't want Chris Bryant?
No.
He doesn't want to do anything. There's a difference.
I feel like Chris Bryant's the guy that makes your team better, but
still doesn't pitch.
I was gonna. I'm getting there.
Sorry.
I feel like that's the move you make. You gotta get somebody in the bullpen.
Let's get another guy to strike out.
You gotta get a guy in the bullpen to help you win some close games at the end.
They have huge holes. They need at least one more starting pitcher, and they need a closer, and then they need somebody like Chris Bryant. The thing that's gonna be crazy is if he comes here, he's probably gonna play center field. It's probably where he's gonna play. So I'm telling you.
Oh, control, continue. I can't.
Chris Bryant has gotten a lot of time in the outfield. I don't know how happy I would be with him being out in center field, but if that gets the bat in the lineup, though, you got to put him where you can put him and find a way to make it work. But I mean, if you get Chris Bryant, I think it'd be a good move. But the bigger issue at hand is finding somebody to pitch for you.
Well, they thought they had Tyler Anderson yesterday. That fell apart, and we lost him to Seattle because of a failed physical. So that was wonderful. I was actually kind of excited. Not that he's a big name, but he does what they need him to do.
Correct.
He has 18 starts this year. He has 18 quality starts. It's literally perfect for what we need to put in a 4 spot in our rotation right now. Because behind Eflin, it's just absolutely atrociously bad.
Are you like Matt Moore?
I hate Matt Moore.
Vinny Velasquez?
Vinny Velo, I just cannot believe we keep re-signing this dude.
3-inning Spencer?
Oh, my Lord.
A joke. Was my turn yet?
You want Craig Kimbrough?
I would.
I want them all. Give me them all.
No, I would. So here's the thing with Chris Bryant. If we get Chris Bryant, this is what it boils down to. Do you want to play Bowman or do you want to play Herrera? Because that's what you're deciding over.
I get it.
So for me, I'm going to play Bohm at third, and I'm going to put Bryant in center. And then you're going to roll with it, and you're going to go until the wheels fall off. See how far you can take it. I mean, it is what it is.
Chris Cargan goes, can they for the love of God, get rid of Odubel, Velasquez, Moore, Anderson, and Neris? It's a lot of people to get rid of that get regular usage on the Phillies.
And the crazy part about that is if I had to keep one, I would keep Herrera.
All right, so
that's how bad that list is.
Here's my Phillies point. I'm sorry, guys. Listen, I think the Phillies. I think they're in a point right now where they're going to have to go out and get like a mid-level reliever, maybe a 4-star, like that whole thing with Pittsburgh that fell through.
Mm. That would have been perfect.
I don't want the Phillies to give up any more farm. Our farm system stinks now, and we're going to stink for 10 years. I got news for you. We're wasting the prime in the career of JT Realmuto and Bryce Harper because we can't put a 4th and 5th starter out there, and we have no bullpen, and we have no home. Bro, our homegrown talent consists of Aaron Nola. And if you want to count Alex Bohm batting .230, what are we really talking about right now? The Phillies stink. They can't draft. They don't have a bullpen. The only reason we're talking about this is because the NL East sucks. The NL East sucks. And I'm sorry. Like, I'm not in it for the short term. I want Red October again. And I want Red October year after year after year. I want 2007 to 2011. You're not getting there with piecework bullshit. And Montgomery, like, I swear, if I have to hear that man talk one more time, speaking out both sides of his ass, one time it's, I'm going to send stupid money. Then he won't go over luxury tax. Then he's talking about how he lost $2 billion. I hate the Phillies franchise. They suck. They drafted Mickey Moniak with the dude. I can't. The Phillies suck. They suck.
You're putting a lot of like half truths out there right now. Like who's consistently good in the major leagues right now?
What do you mean?
Who's consistently good? Hey, how did the Dodgers get there?
They spent a lot of money.
Correct. So it's not
Montgomery's not doing that. You didn't go over luxury.
It's not Montgomery. It's Middleton. It's not Montgomery.
Middleton. Sorry. I don't.
Yankees are the same way. Yankees have been doing it for 3 freaking decades. They mix in 1 or 2 guys they draft and they go out and spend money. Okay, what have they won though?
That's fair. It's a fair point.
They're good enough to get there. They're not good enough to win it.
They were good enough to win it last year.
It's
that was a bad coaching move.
Yeah, he's probably never going to live that down.
The one thing that I will say with the Phillies though is that you got a shot to win the division this year. And I know you said you're not thinking short term, but if you get to the dance, you got a chance. So
exactly.
if you're going to get in the playoffs, if you're going to make the playoffs, why not at least have a team that's formidable and has a chance to compete, as opposed to just being the doormat for, you know, the Dodgers or the Padres, Giants, Brewers, whoever, you know, you face, and, you know, get swept. I think if you think that you have a shot to make the playoffs, why not bolster your roster now? That's how I feel about
Chris
it.
Bryant.
I would sell.
You plop
Swear
him.
to God.
What are you going to sell though?
I'd sell Eugene Segura. I would sell anybody I can. Andrew McCutchen. I would sell Andrew McCutchen at his height right now. He's dying, and he's having a great June and July. Sell him to a team that needs somebody. Get some damn prospects. Reload our minor league system.
What do you think you're getting for Andrew McCutchen?
A AAA player that might be able to play next year.
You're probably not getting that.
I don't know.
He's 36 on.
That's my point.
Right. So so you're giving away somebody. You want to build the farm system up, but you're getting back a guy that's probably.
Gene Segura's batting .316. We can get something for him.
You can. Segura's
get rid of all of them.
For what? But your whole point is you want to rebuild it. So what are you starting with next year? You're getting rid of McCutchen, Segura. What do you want? Who are we putting there next year? You bringing Scotty Kingery back? Are we going back through
Jetbacks?
We going back through that jargon bullshit again?
It's not my fault. I didn't screw up this franchise.
I get all that. And the Moniak thing, again, that's typical Philadelphia sports fashion in general. They get the number one pick in a year where there was literally no universal number one pick. It couldn't happen any better. And again, baseball, dude, it's the draft is a crapshoot, dude. You never know.
First pick shouldn't be.
Mike Trout went 27th.
I get it.
26
I like
teams
his
were
number.
26 teams were not sure. You just don't know. There's more super successful baseball players that get drafted in round 20 than there are number one picks. It's the way baseball is.
That's fair.
I
don't argue that, but if your job is scouting and your job is building up a farm system, and you can look at the Phillies roster. Let's just for the heck of it, Rhys Hoskins is batting .230, right? Gene Segura is not homegrown. Didi Gregorius is not homegrown. Alex Boehm's batting .230. Andrew McCutchen's not homegrown. Their center fielders beat up women. Their right fielder, they signed for the biggest contract in history of baseball. And JT Realmuto, they traded all their prospects to get him. And their pitchers, they got Zach Will, who they signed. They got Aaron Nola, who's homegrown. You can't win if you can't develop prospects. It's the same problem the Eagles have. If you can't develop people in your own organization and draft, you're not going to win. And you're not going to win consistently. And that's the problem.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. There's a bigger difference in baseball than there is any other sport.
I agree.
If you play Division I basketball in college, you have a very good indication if those guys can make it to the pro. Same thing. If you're playing in the SEC for football, you have a really good indication. You're drafting kids in baseball that are playing high school that are just dramatically better than other kids they're playing around. And college, Division I college, is not Major League Baseball. There is a huge gap. You have no idea how kids are going to project and develop once they get into a major league system.
Man, I watch Moneyball plenty of times. I understand how that works.
There you go. Billy Bean. Billy Bean's a perfect example. He was a can't-miss prospect.
He was a can't-miss prospect, 5-tool player.
And he sucked.
All right, guys. We got to move on. It's 9:15. We got a lot more to go over. I love this stuff. Can we get into the video games?
That's fine.
I've been waiting for the video games. Can we load the video games? Right side of the bracket. Oh, he's got it ready. Listen, and this sucks. You want to talk about not seeding. This one sucks, but Bill would have probably wanted to seed at 32nd anyway. But John Madden football versus Golden Tee. If you guys don't know, play me in Golden Tee. I love Golden Tee. Anytime we go to a bar, anytime we go anywhere, people are sitting around watching NCAA games, I'm playing Golden Tee.
That's a fact.
Bro, I love it. Golden Tee. I love Golden Tee. I played Golden Tee with my dad at Pickles. Little shout out. Well, Pickles isn't open anymore. But I was 16, 14, 13, 12 in the bar playing Golden Tee. Golden Tee versus the original John Madden football, which is, it might be my first love. John Madden football might be my first love. Me and my buddy Danny Dempsey, hope he's listening. John Madden football's got to be my pick, though. It sucks that it's going against one of my loves.
Yeah, I mean, Golden Tee's a fun game to put on here. It's the only arcade game that's here. But, I mean, the answer is John Madden football. I think we all agree on that.
What do you say, Billy?
I'm Madden football. Golden Tee shouldn't be in this competition.
Oh,
he's a Golden Tee hater.
I'm not a hater. It's just an arcade game. We're talking about video games. They're just different.
It has video and you play it.
If you play the video game version of Golden Tee, it's atrocious.
The video game version is terrible.
It's terrible.
But I'm talking about the arcade version.
Okay, so we're talking about video games.
It's still a video game.
John Madden's my vote.
Good. I voted for John Madden too.
Me too.
NBA Live 05 versus NHL Hits 03.
This is easy too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill.
For me, it is. It's NBA Live 05 for me. On record, I don't like the Hit Street, that like Marvel / sports game franchise crap. I'm in NBA Live 05 on this.
Okay.
NBA Live 05 is definitely my vote. This was the year that they added in the 3-point contest, dunk contest. If you were playing like your franchise mode, and you got depending on how good your team was, you'd have one or two of your players in those events. Just a fun game overall. NBA Live 05 gets my vote.
To be honest with you, Reddy, I'm going to take this as simple as possible. I'm voting for Live, and Live's going to move on. But 2K did a lot of things better than Live. 2K surpassed Live as the NBA basketball game, and they rightfully so. But the one thing that NBA Live did way better than 2K is the dunk contest. The 2K dunk contest sucks. It is really terrible. You ever play a season and you get stuck in a dunk contest and it's like tap squared and tap it again. It's like stupid.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
I mean, 2K got there as time went on, but during the early 2000s, Live had them beat.
Yeah, I'm going Live here too. Sweep. This is, sorry, Ken Griffey baseball. Could be the GOAT. Could be the GOAT of football.
Yeah, this is an unfortunate pairing.
Tecmo Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, they still have Tecmo Super Bowl tournaments right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Tecmo Super Bowl is the greatest football game ever. I'm going Tecmo Super Bowl, and in a landslide. Ken Griffey baseball was great. It was fun. Listen, the reason I wear the number 24 is because of the great Ken Griffey. With that being said, Tecmo Super Bowl in a landslide.
The only thing I didn't like about Ken Griffey, too, was if you used him, like if you used their team, like you almost couldn't lose. Like it was like very sweet to just using the Mariners all the time. But it's Tecmo
That Mariners team was so much fun.
It was.
Yeah.
Jay Buhner, Edgar Martinez, Ken Griffey. They even played with Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, you had a young A-Rod, Randy Johnson.
Oh, God, the big unit. Which is the most sexual nickname of all time.
It is. That Frank Thomas, the big hurt. But, I mean, that's stereotyping, I guess.
For me, I got Tecmo Super Bowl as well. Tecmo Super Bowl, great game. I remember playing it like I was really young. Actually, probably one of the first games that I actually played regularly with my dad. He loved playing with the Eagles because Randall Cunningham was his favorite quarterback. Tecmo Super Bowl definitely got my vote here.
The 49ers were almost unbeatable in that.
Yeah, the Eagles weren't that good in that game.
Randall Cunningham was amazing.
He was, but
offensively, it was very tough.
49ers were very good in that game.
Here's the only glitch game I'm going to vote for. All right, whatever. We'll get into it in a minute. NBA Jam versus UFC Undisputed 3. NBA Jam is such a funny 2-on-2 game. It's Michael, man, I can't. NBA Jam has to be my vote. I loved NBA Jam. It was so much fun. Every 2-on-2 pairing was amazing. UFC Undisputed 3 was great, but NBA Jam is a classic.
NBA Jam is definitely getting my vote here. UFC Undisputed 3 isn't even the best undisputed game. I'm going 1 or 2 all day long. Give me NBA Jam in this one.
He's heating up.
He's heating up. You put the code in before and get the big head players. I mean, it was all. I mean, I was in middle school when this came out, and it was. I remember when it came out.
Who was your team?
I used to use Seattle.
So did I.
Deadlift and Kemp, baby.
Yes. Deadlift Street. Oh, I love it.
Sean Kemp could dunk from midcourt when he was on fire.
Sean Kemp was definitely a fun player to play with in that game.
I remember when it came out in the arcades, and we would literally have almost getting fist fights at Thunderbird Lanes between this and Mortal Kombat playing. And then when it came out for the console, it was an everyday thing after school. We were at somebody's house playing it. It's NBA Jam. NBA Jam could end up winning this. They'll be there towards the end. I don't know if it's going to beat some of the other ones, but
he's on fire.
It's a classic game.
NBA Jam will be there near the end. This is another easy one. We got this perfect first round matchups for randomized seating. Tiger Woods PGA 04 is clearly better than NFL Street. I liked NFL Street, by the way. NFL Street is another one of those weird, glitchy games, like those fake games that were fun to play. I loved it, But Tiger Woods PGA 04 was my first, my second golf love because Golden Tee was my first golf love. But Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods easy, right?
I'm not playing Marvel football. Tiger Woods.
Marvel football.
Hold on now. You're not giving NFL Street the credit it deserves here. Ricky Williams in NFL Street was an amazing player. I'm going Tiger Woods PGA, but NFL Street was a fun game.
It's so much fun.
It doesn't get my credit
Ricky Williams,
or my respect.
His muscles were so big.
Yeah. It's like Thanos playing football. It's retarded.
Thanos. All right, so this is a tough one.
Ooh, this is a tough one.
So
much for that seating working out.
Blades of Steel versus Fight Night 1. Bill, go first on this one.
Oh, what a douche.
I needed to wait on this one.
Hopefully so
I don't get stuck with a 2-0.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Depending on what I got my vote already in my head, so depending on what Shally
I believe
says,
Shally.
with it.
Here's the problem with this. Like usually, like you end up weighing like kind of like the old OG game that was kind of like ahead of its time. The problem is Fight Night does that too. Like Fight Night was the first really good fighting game. Blades of Steel was amazing because it was the first hockey game you could fight in. They didn't have the NHL teams, like they had the cities, but not the teams. But the gameplay was gameplay was like kind of what enabled NHL to do, like what NHL did. Wow.
Well, since Katraz's vote.
Yeah, what's your vote?
I'm going Fight Night 1. Give me Fight Night 1 in this one.
I think I'm gonna get screwed on this one. God.
Probably are now.
I should let Bill go first on this one.
Yeah, I'll do this just for fun. I'll go Blades of Steel.
Oh, I hate you both of you guys. See, now I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why. I already know what I'm going with, and in my head, I knew what I was going with.
I feel like I know where you're going to.
Because it's not the best fight night.
Yep,
it's not.
No, I mean this being the first one is why it's here.
Correct. So I'm going Blades of Steel, and Blades of Steel was amazing. Blades of Steel was a game I played with my dad, a game I played with all my friends. You could fight in the game. I remember Edmonton, the green team. It was like, bro.
The best part about Blades of Steel was you had to like do things to like initiate the fight, like get like the aggressive up. So like I remember like when we all started playing it, like we would play each other, and like one guy would go around and just be like, wouldn't even try to score. Like he just wanted to hit people and like try to get in fights. And then you'd be playing people that were like trying to win the game. It was so fun. Then people would get hurt. Like it's just fun. You could play it now. It's fun.
Blades of Steel. So all right, I'm gonna get really screwed at home for this one. Tecmo Bowl, Bo Jackson.
Goat.
RBI baseball.
Another not good. This shouldn't be a first round matchup.
I think Tecmo Bowl stinks. I think Tecmo Super Bowl is way. Listen, I'm going to be clear with you. I hate games that have just like really, like when we had to make rules that you couldn't use the Raiders because Bo Jackson was such a glitch.
Tecmo Super Bowl's no different.
Tecmo Super Bowl was way different.
There are certain plays with certain teams you run in that game, you will score every goddamn time.
I agree with you, but there wasn't a team that you could run the play with.
It didn't. You didn't have the team. It was Bo Jackson,
Steve Young, or Joe Montana to Jerry Rice and Tecmo Super. I'm going RBI baseball here. I'll go first.
Me or you?
I think this one's easy. I'm going Tecmo Bowl. I understand what you're saying, and I don't want to get too much into which Tecmo Bowl I think is better, but
you know which Tecmo Bowl is better.
I'm going Tecmo Bowl on this one.
They're on the same side of the bracket, so that's probably going to happen.
It might.
Good thing we didn't seed it.
I'm glad. Tecmo Bowl would have been like an 8 seed.
You're out of your mind.
Stinks, bro.
You're terrible.
Tecmo Super Bowl is way better.
I love RBI baseball. That was the first baseball game that I ever bought that I like religiously played because it was that good. It was the most realistic by far at the time. But Tecmo Bowl was the first sports game that I really played. Like it came out a little bit before. It came out at the same time as like Blades of Steel and all them actually. But
yeah, 88, 87, 88.
Yeah, it's 100% Tecmo Bowl.
Okay.
I hate voting against RBI baseball.
RBI baseball is so much more fun. This is tough.
Seedings, don't need them.
No, we don't, because they're all really great games. This is why you got outvoted, because you're wrong. NBA 2K11.
4 matchups in a row where I was
versus Knockout Kings. No, it's not.
Okay.
Knockout Kings. NBA 2K11 versus Knockout Kings. Knockout Kings, if you don't know the game, it's the Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. Like, these are all like classic fighters.
First time they had everybody in the game.
Correct. NBA 2K11 is the year the NBA really surpassed live, took live out.
It's the year it became the standard for basketball games.
And it is the standard. It still is the standard. NBA 2K now is amazing. And it's way better than Madden.
Do they still make live?
No.
I don't think so.
Just like EA.
Well, they took a year off because of COVID, and then they wanted to prepare themselves for the next generation. So they're going to make another one. They made one in 19. They took off a year for 20, and they're going to probably make another one for the new Xbox and PlayStation coming out.
2K with my player mode is 100% way better than live, and I don't think live's got a shot.
No, I don't disagree with you, but I know they're going to come back in production.
I didn't even know it was that recent. I thought they stopped making them longer ago.
So did I.
No, Joel Embiid actually was on the cover of NBA Live 19.
Oh, touche.
The more you know.
I'm not NBA Live cover jinx. Is that real?
I'll go last on this one. This is the last matchup of the first round.
Do you guys want me to go?
You go.
So Knockout Kings was another one of the first like true games that I had. I remember playing it in the kitchen in our home when I was like super young. PlayStation 1, hooked up to the TV and everything. This was a great game. I'm going NBA 2K11 here. This was the first year that they actually put some true effort into 2Ks, like the My Player. They had the Jordan achievements where you could go play, like go drop the double nickel, have a flu game, like things like that to get Jordan's achievements. The game had the My Player. They had the Combine where you could rise your stock. You get all the way up to number 1 pick. If you sucked at that, you would be like a second-round pick. It was a very realistic game for what it was.
Still have that Combine. It's awesome.
I'm going 2K11 in this one.
You gonna make it tough on me? I'll go second. I'll make it tough on you. Knockout Kings is my pick here. It was so much fun to put Ali versus Tyson, Frazier, so many great fighters.
Rocky Marciano.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going Knockout Kings, and Knockout Kings is in the running for one of the best fighting games of all time. That Mike Tyson's Punch Out, Fight Night Round 4. There are 3 really good arguments.
Agreed.
I love 2K. I play 2K all the time. I play My Player. Problem is, and you'll find this out later, the problem is it's not the franchise, it's the year. And I don't mean to be an asshole when I say this. The 2K franchise is the second best franchise ever. The Madden franchise is the best franchise ever. I don't think either one of them win. I'm going Knockout Kings. And by the way, Knockout Kings, when they redid it, was terrible. So I'm glad that just the OG Knockout Kings was way better.
I didn't even play the new one. This is going to boil down. I think this is tough for me because I think they both have very strong cases to go on. So for me, I'm just going to pick which I like to play more. And for me, it's Knockout Kings.
Let's go.
I remember when it first came out and the excitement of getting it to be able to use Ali, Tyson, when they finally, licensed him to be in it. That was all the hype around that game because before you couldn't use him. So I'm going Knockout Kings.
Okay, so I'm just going to preview the second round matchups, and then we're going to move forward. Tecmo Bowl, original Tecmo Bowl versus Knockout Kings. Blades of Steel versus Tiger Woods PGA 04. NBA Jam versus Tecmo Super Bowl.
That is a classic.
That's a banger.
Sorry, NBA Jam. John Madden Football versus Live 05.
That's going to come down to Cottrell then.
Yeah, maybe. Let's slide over to the other side. Look at the second round matchups. Madden 05 versus NHL 94.
Another classic.
Yeah.
MVP Baseball 05 versus ESPN 2K5. I think that's the easiest second round matchup. NCAA 14 versus Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Second easiest. And NCAA 06 versus Fight Night Round 4. I can't wait to do the second round matchups. You want to just do them now? I'm kidding. We got to move forward.
Left side's definitely easier than the right side.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. So, the NHL, the Flyers made a lot of big moves. And, I've never seen such mixed reactions to Flyers moves that I've seen recently. I'll let Bill kind of pretense it because he's the big hockey guy, but I have a really strong opinion on the Flyers moves.
Where to start? So, I mean, I think you're seeing a lot of Flyers fans that are a little bit, I don't want to say emotionally attached, but there were a couple fan favorites that got traded out of here. Jake, who I absolutely cannot stand.
Couldn't stand him for years.
Ever. So I'm not sad to see him go. The Ghost one, I think the Ghost one is the more, I don't say controversial one, but I think a lot of people really wanted to see if he could have a bounce back year next year, get back on the same page as AV and see what he could do. And we pretty much traded him and sent 2 picks with him for Arizona to take him. But it cleared the cap room and allowed us to kind of go down the road here and do these other trades. So I'll start with the big one, which was Ellis. He absolutely makes us a better hockey team. He's an absolute number one that we can play with Provy now. There's no, if anybody gets mad at that one, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you probably just shouldn't watch hockey.
Ellis and Provy could be the best defensive pairing in hockey.
I want to go there, but
I am.
They're top. They're top 6, the worst. I don't know if they're number 1 though, but they're up there. But again, it gives us an absolute 1A guy that we can go out and play with Coots in the middle and go out and play against any team's best line, and they're going to shut him down. So that is something we haven't had in a while. So that was a great trade for us. Second one, I'll go with Atkinson. Again, I love this move. Him and Jake are very similar players. The difference is Jake is a pass-first player versus Atkinson is like, give me the puck, I'm shooting it somewhere. That's what he wants to do. I don't know whose line he's going to play on yet. I think it's going to be very interesting to see where he slots in. I don't know if he's going to put him with G. I don't know if he's going to put him with Coots. I don't know what he's going to do with him yet. He is a guy that this city will love, though. He's an up-tempo player. He runs into people. Like I said, he's the biggest thing I could compare him to. He's kind of a bigger, better goal scorer maybe than Travis Konechny. But he's that type of guy. He's a high-energy guy. Like I said, when he gets the puck and he's anywhere near the net, he's not looking to give it to anybody. He's going to try to score. And that's what we need. We gave up Jake. Again, it was, we actually saved money on the trade. So I love the Atkinson trade.
The big one was the first-round draft pick for Remy, or
his nickname's Risto. So
Risto,
this is the one that people have been debating the most about. He's a good player that was on a very bad team and put up very bad numbers because he was on a very bad team. So the logic here is you're bringing in a guy that can be your second defensive pairing, hopefully get Travis Sanheim back on track, because he's kind of starting to look like Ghost. He had a great rookie year, and last year he was terrible. Hoping we're going to steady him out. He also played with like 6 different defensemen last year. There was no continuity, there was no flow, there was no consistency with Sanheim last year because he was playing with different people almost every night. Because after our third defenseman, we were awful last year. We gave up a lot to get him. The thinking is he's going to come here. He's a great locker room guy. He was an alternate captain in Buffalo. Thing is, he's going to get here. He's going to figure his game out, get back to where he was a couple years ago, and there's going to be a lot of upside for us. That remains to be seen. That this is the risky one, in my opinion. It's probably the one you've heard most people debate about.
Well, the Ghost trade, everyone was not very happy about because they basically gave up Ghost and gave draft picks up just to get rid of his contract.
Correct.
2 years ago, we were talking about him being like the freaking franchise.
Listen, he still has one of the best quotes I've ever seen for an athlete in this city. It was like right middle of his rookie year. They said, they asked him, like, what are your goals are? He said, the only thing I want to do is bring a Stanley Cup to the city. He's like, the only thing I want to do is win a Stanley Cup. He's like, every time I want to come back here, I never want to have to buy a drink ever again. And how he went from that to where he ended up, it's crazy. Again, I'm on the fence to where I would have liked to have seen him stay here for one more year, but I also understand why they made the move. Him and AV were never on the same page since AV got here. It was evident last year. He was healthy scratch for 4 or 5 games at a time. He would play 2 games, get back, get scratched again. They just weren't on the same page. And he wasn't playing well either. So, I mean, it's tough to see him go, I think, because of all the promise you had with him after his rookie year. And he became a fan favorite. So many people liked him. But it's part of the business. It is what it is. So, Risto is the one that needs to work out for us to be a good team. Then you have the 2 free agent signings today that were official. They signed Keith Yandel, who we were actually linked to trying to trade for last year. very good friend with Kevin Hayes. Was a very, very good player for a very long time. Definitely on the end of his career. He's probably going to be the third pairing guy. But he's consistent. He shows.
Andrew Bodner just said, don't forget about Landon Yandel.
Yeah. So
my man Bods.
Yandel could end up being a huge upside thing for us. We got him cheap, not even $1 million. Another great locker room guy. Tom Campbell turned me on to this today, and I didn't even know. The dude is hilarious. If you want to Google his Split and Chicklets hockey podcast when he was a guest on there, or even if you saw his team's call with Hayes today once they announced it, he's a funny dude. He will definitely be a good guy to have in the locker room. And he also has his Iron Man streak going right now, too. He plays hurt. He's a tough guy. He's going to be in the lineup every night. You're now updating our third defensive pairing. It was a good move. And then we signed Martin Jones today to be Hart's backup. I'm a little, I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on this. This kind of goes in the same boat as Risto. He's San Jose's starting goalie for the last couple of years. Numbers aren't great, but he's better than his numbers put up because he was on a very terrible team.
Okay, so the Flyers' defensive pairings last year were so bad, and they kept switching up, and their defense, I think they were 27.
They were in the bottom 5 for defense and goaltending.
Well, I mean, they go hand in hand. So I think that, the Carter Hart that we seen 2 years ago is hopefully the Carter Hart we see going forward in the future. With Travis Sanheim, you brought the perfect point. He had 6 different defensive partners.
Yep.
I think him having a steady defensive pairing partner to play off for the entire season, or for at least most of it, because injuries happen, things like that. But I think that's huge. I think it's a very big thing. Provy, Ellis being your top defensive line, they're not going to hurt you. They're very, 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 very good defensive pairing. If you don't want to say they're one, that's fine. Colorado's one. That's what Dante says. It's fine. But I need stability in front of a young goalie.
Correct.
I'm glad we got rid of Voracek. He stinks.
Oh, I'm so happy he's gone.
I'm sorry. And Ghost doesn't play well with her coach. Like, for whatever reason, they had some internal locker room beef. Like, he was on his shit list. I don't know, man.
He was in the doghouse since he got here, and he never really got out of it. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the other point.
I don't care about Martin Jones either, because Carter Hart's got to be your guy.
He is, but I think people, I don't want to say you overlook it, but we've been very blessed to have Brian Elliott as the backup here for the last 2 years.
Agreed, especially last year.
A guy that doesn't want the limelight, that understands that Carter Hart's the guy, so forth and so on, and literally beloved by every player on this team. So he signed with Tampa Bay today to be Vasilevsky's backup next year. That one was a little sad to go. If we would have kept Elliott, I'd been happy with that. But I also think they wanted to change it up a little bit. And maybe push Carter a little bit. Again, Martin Jones was the number 1 for a lot of years, and he played on a lot of bad hockey teams. He's a capable guy. He's a good backup.
PD said Martin Jones is terrible.
He is. I mean, listen, his numbers are not indicative of what he is, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. The biggest thing that was a huge thing. If you start Yandel, I mean, I'm assuming you're going to start him either with Braun or Hag, but if not Cam York. But we'll have 3 right-handed and 3 left-handed defensemen for all 3 pairings, and we haven't had that in forever. And the only reason I say that is it makes a big difference when you come out of your zone because guys are on your natural side then, and it makes a difference for the power play. So you're on your strong side shooting. So as trivial as it sounds, it's actually a big deal.
I actually didn't think it was trivial at all. I agree with you. Control, any thoughts on the Flyers?
Nope.
Okay. I get it, and I think the Flyers are a much better team now than they were 2 months ago at the end of the season.
Their ceiling in my opinion, is a lot higher than it was before this offseason.
I think that they brought in a lot of good locker room people too. I think that's so huge as the culture in hockey. Like, it's such a family based.
Well, that, and there was apparently there's a lot of stuff going on last year in the
obviously
locker room.
COVID and everything.
Yeah, but with dissension within the group and so forth and so on. So they addressed that as well. So
let's get into our NFL defensive line list.
Do it.
So we did defensive line / edge rushers. We put them on one list, and and I think part of the reason that we did this is to flex a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like a lot of these lists, it's really easy for someone to go on and Google and be like, oh, let's just take we don't do that. We really kind of like watch the games and make our own list off our own opinions. So being two separate positions, edge rushers and interior defensive linemen, put them together. Let's take a value. Now, obviously, edge rusher is going to take a little bit precedent over defensive tackles, especially on my list. I don't know about your two lists, but I think edge rusher is huge.
I valued edge more than defensive line.
Yeah.
I only have 3 defensive linemen on my list. Wait,
so
I think that's right.
Let's start with our honorable mentions, or I'll start my honorable mentions. I know Shalley's got a tie for 10. He told me before the show.
Yeah.
So my honorable mentions, the people that didn't make my list. Tell me how awesome your list has to be to have these 3 people off of it. Zadarius Smith did not make my list.
It's not on my list either.
Von Miller did not make my list.
Von is on my list.
And Joey Bosa did not make my list.
Joey's definitely on my list.
Joey's on my Joey's on my list too. My honorable mention, Danielle Hunter was a guy who I struggled with leaving off my list. I think that he has all the potential in the world as long as he's, healthy on the field. And then the other guy, Von Miller, it was tough not having him on here just because, when Von's playing, he's playing at a high level and he makes tons of disruption. So those are 2 guys I left off.
So, PD, I want to address your comment. You said, interior line and an offensive linebacker.
What?
Outside linebacker, sorry. So, we only did edge rushers. So, outside linebackers that just primarily rush the passer. There's outside linebackers in 4-3s that we're not putting on our list, obviously. These are just like, I'll give you an example, TJ Watt. He's listed as an outside linebacker, but he rushes the passer primarily. So he's listed as an edge rusher.
Yeah.
So do you have any honorable mentions, people that you just left off your list?
No. I was pretty comfortable with what I was here. I didn't want to cut either one of the people that I had tied for 10. So
give me start with you then, because you have a tie for 10.
My tie for 10th, I have Von Miller from Denver, obviously, and then DeForest Buckner from Indianapolis.
Buckner's not on my list either. He's like 15th for me.
Buckner is another.
That's crazy.
But the thing with Buckner is that you can argue he's probably either number 4 or number 3 defensive tackle in the league. So I understand why he's
literally nail on the head right there. He was number 3 for me. I knew I was going to value edge rusher more on this, but I was like, I think it's absurd to leave the 3rd best interior lineman off the list. So, and then Von Miller again as a guy hasn't really.
So me and you are both low on the same Philadelphia Eagle then. He didn't sniff my list.
He's on my list.
He didn't sniff my list.
I struggled with it, and then I
didn't struggle with it at all.
I struggled because I wanted to put him on there, but then when I stepped back, I was unbiased about it. There was no way he could be on this list.
Yeah. So we got to kind of fire through these.
Yeah.
So we'll start with 10.
Again, Von is a dude really hasn't played much in the last 2 years, but he's also Super Bowl MVP when he's healthy. Kind of like Cottrell said, when he's healthy and he's on, he's there. He's definitely a top 10 guy for me.
Okay. Cottrell, give me your 10.
My number 10 is Chris Jones. We talked about defensive tackles. This is second best defensive tackle in the league.
Oh, be careful.
With Kansas City. Great pass rusher from the interior, claws up the middle. This is a guy he's earned his spot on this list.
So Danielle Hunter's my 10. Danielle Hunter had to make my list. Couldn't leave him
I'm
off.
with you. I'm with you.
Couldn't leave him off.
He would have been next for me.
Danielle Hunter has the ability to be top 5 next year on this list.
He does.
He's unbelievable. And the only problem with this list is there's so many good players, but I had to put him on here. So I'll start with my number 9. My number 9 is Cam Jordan. Not only is he a great player, he's a great leader. Cam Jordan in that New Orleans defense is a monster to slow down. So I have Cam Jordan 9.
9 for me, I have Nick Bosa from San Fran. Again, health is a big thing with him. If he could stay healthy and put a full year together, he's probably way higher up on this list. Putting a lot of faith in him that he'll stay on the field. When he does, he's productive. But injuries have definitely limited him. And when he's healthy, we all see what he does. He's a
Is there
freak.
an S there?
What?
I think injury. Injury.
All right.
No, Nick Bosa is to me doesn't list as injury plagued. He had a injury.
He had injuries at Ohio State that kind of plagued him, but in the NFL, he had the torn ACL last year. But yeah, I understand, where both you guys are coming from.
Who's your 9?
My number 9 is Joey Bosa, his brother. Another Bosa brother I think this is the guy who has the injuries concern. I mean, it seems like he's always hurt. But with that San Diego defense, that's a team I feel like that's poised. At least the defense is poised to be really good, especially if Derwin James, a guy we mentioned a couple weeks ago, Derwin James. I think Joey Bosa, when healthy, he's probably top 5 on my list. I think he's going to play at least 14, 15 games this year, so that's why I got him coming in at number 9.
Give me your 8.
My number 8 is Cam Jordan. A lot of the reasons that you mentioned. I think he's going to have a little bit of a drop-off in his numbers because Trey Hendrickson isn't there on the other side, but Cam Jordan is such a monster. He's going to get his no matter what.
Your number 8, Shelly?
I have Chris Jones, Kansas City, number 8.
So do I.
Yeah.
Same
thing you mentioned. Again,
second best D-tackle in the league.
Yeah, second best D-tackle in the league. Been a little bit, I don't say inconsistent, but
he is inconsistent.
You don't have to. Yeah, he's kind of getting the reputation of
Fletcher.
I don't want to say Fletcher. He's kind of like taking plays off.
I was going to say he's kind of like a Alabama defensive tackle.
Yeah.
It's like you got so many guys next to you, like Frank Clark and those guys. You could take plays off, but then when the team needs you, you go out there and you make a play.
Yep.
That's a very good, very, very good point. My number 8 was Chris Jones also, and I'll start with my number 7. It's Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa, and the reason I said injury, because Nick Bosa, I think is going to be dominant this year, man. I really think him coming back completely healthy this year, I think he's going to be a dominant force. 13, 14 sacks this year, that would be my prediction. I think Nick Bosa is going to dominate on the defensive end. Number 7 for you?
Chandler Jones from Arizona, which got a little interesting because he's apparently once out. So see what happens with him in the course of the year. But again, consistent guy. Been on here for a while. Just puts up numbers every year. He's probably not as explosive or maybe like a highlight reel as some of the guys we're going to mention soon. But again, a mainstay in that Arizona defense, and he just puts up numbers.
Chandler Jones is an absolute animal. The reason I didn't have him on my list, I don't know what team he's going to go to. So I want to stay away from that.
Same.
But my number 7 is going to be Shaquille Barrett from the Bucks. Guy rushed the passer extremely well. I think he can have a monster year with that defense. Todd Bowles really have those guys dialed in. I think he's going to have another really good year. So Shaquille Barrett's my number 7.
I had a really tough time leaving Shaquille Barrett out of my top 5. I have him 6. Shaquille Barrett, I think, is going to be, man, that Bucks defense, there's so many really, really good players, from linebackers to edge rushers. And, JPP could be on this list too. Like the dominant performance he had. And Shaq Barrett's my 6 for a lot of reasons that you said. Give me your 6.
Khalil Mack, Chicago.
Ooh.
I think.
A little low.
I think you started to see it last year. They're starting to dip a little bit. I think he's a great player. I love watching him play. I think his career year was probably 2 years ago. I just think guys ahead of him that I have listed here have the potential to have better years.
I really hope to see you're missing somebody that I know that you're low on. And I'm hoping he's on your list, and I'm really just starting to get a little worried. We'll find out shortly.
All right.
Number 6 for you?
My number 6 is TJ Watt.
Wow.
Whoa!
I originally had him even a little bit lower. I think you're going to see it this year without Bud Dupree being on the other side. I understand they got Melvin Ingram. Melvin Ingram's 32 years old, coming off a couple knee injuries last year. I don't think Melvin Ingram is going to be the piece that a lot of people think that he can be for that defense. TJ Watt's going to see a lot more double teams, triple teams. He's going to be the focus of a lot of teams' game plans. If Melvin Ingram beats you, so be it. 32-year-old Melvin Ingram with knee injuries, he beats me, so be it. But I think TJ is a special player. He's going to still get his. I just don't see him being top 5 player.
Nothing to sneeze about.
No, stop.
Give me your 5 now.
My number 5 is Nick Bosa. I think Nick Bosa is going to be poised for a comeback year with that San Francisco defense. The only question mark is what kind of scheme they're running with Saleh not there anymore. But I think Nick Bosa is the more talented Bosa brother, and I think he's going to be poised for a really good year this upcoming season.
Give me 5.
I got Chase Young at 5.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure. I was.
Do you really think I was going to leave him off the list?
I don't know, bro. I know you're a little bit of a hater of him.
I don't hate him. I just don't worship at his feet like you
do.
Well, you wait to see how I have him.
No, well, see. Listen, the moon is, the dude has all the potential in the world. He was a rookie last year. I mean, we'll see how he progresses, but he's just a physically gifted young guy, high motor, loves to play. So, I mean, we'll see. But I got him at 5. I can't. The 4 people, there's one person you can probably argue I can put him ahead of that I've left, but this is as high as you could go for me.
It's fair. My 5's TJ Watt, and I think 5 is low for him, and I do, but the 4 ahead of him I just think are special. I think TJ Watt's special too. Anybody top 5 on this list is special. TJ Watt's incredible. I just want to see it again. It really concerned me the drop off in production after Bud Dupree left, him getting through double teams. I just want to see it. And he could be 1. He almost won Defensive Player of the Year last year. But I got him 5. I have TJ Watt 5. Do you want me to go 4 first?
Yes.
Who?
So everybody gave 5, right?
Yeah.
So my 4 is Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack. I think so. So here's the problem with Khalil Mack, and this is why I have him 4 this year. I think Khalil Mack, I don't want to say takes games off or takes plays off, but I think what he does is when his team stinks and they're out of the game and they're not playing well, doesn't give 100%. A little bit of an injury. A little bit. I think that the Chicago Bears are going to be really good this year with Justin Fields. I'm a huge Justin Fields guy. I think they're going to compete for the division. And I think a lot of people's jobs are on the line over there. So with that being said, I think Khalil Mack has a very good season for me to have him at number 4.
I'm also on board with Khalil Mack being my number 4. My issue with Khalil Mack, we talked about it. We talked about it last week. Chuck Pagano, he does them no favors. The fact that if you watch Chicago Bears, their defense, there were many times that 3rd down where you need to get after the quarterback, Khalil Mack's dropping into coverage. What are you doing? This is one of the best pass rushers in football. So I think part of it is he's not going to get the opportunity because they're doing boneheaded things like that, and Chuck Pagano's a doofus. But
that's factual.
I think Khalil Mack is still going to. Another player that's going to get his no matter what.
Still there, though, right?
Is he not the coordinator anymore?
Yeah, they fired him. I'm
Good.
90. I could be wrong.
Good.
Someone correct me on the wire line, but I'm pretty sure Chuck Pagano has been fired or retired or left.
That would be a good thing for them.
Chuck Pagano hate is real.
Chuck Pagano stinks. Listen,
I liked him in Indy. He did a terrible job with the Bears.
Bro, listen, for what he overcame, great story.
Yep.
But Bruce Arians ran that team, and let's call a spade a spade. I might come off as heartless, but
you guys talk about me.
Yeah, but listen, he's a bad coach.
The Alex Smith.
He's a bad coach. Okay, I'm sorry. He overcame cancer, and I'm thrilled about that. To be fair, he's not a great coach. Who's your number 4?
Number 4 is the guy that I'm projecting higher than you guys have him. I think just the way it works out, he's got to have a year where he's not injury free. I'm going Joey Bosa at 4.
You want to talk about amazing? This is a guy I don't have on my list, and he has him 4. That is how different our opinions are on players. Love it. Yeah, no, I love it. God.
When he's on the field, the dude is an absolute menace. It's just a matter of him staying on the field. I hated playing against them in college, obviously, when they played us. The kid has all the talent in the world and all the athletic gifts in the world. He just has to stay healthy. I think this is the year he finally does, and if he does, I think he's easily where he is on this list.
Hot take, Dante.
Oh, Jesus, what?
No, it's not hot take, Dante, but I'll get into it in a minute because when I get into my number 3.
All right.
Who's your number 3?
I have TJ Watt, number 3.
Fair point.
I think he's going to drop a little bit from where he was last year. I do agree with the Bud Dupree thing. I think Ingram's going to have a good year. I do. I think they're going to be able to let him just kind of peel his ears back and go on the other side. As long as he can stay healthy. He's had pretty much 2 years off, so he should be fresh. So we'll see what kind of shape he's in. I think he's going to be hungry playing on that Pittsburgh defense. Plus, you're going to have Devin Bush back. I think that's going to be a very attacking, aggressive team again. I think TJ will have a very good year. He's just not – I just don't think he's having a better year than the 2 people I have ahead of him.
I'm going to get my number 3 right now because Dante said. My number 3 is Chase Young, and I have Chase Young 3. I have him high, 100%. I am very high on him. I think he has the ability to be a generational defensive end. I think he with Montez Sweat on the other end. I think he has that formidable other defensive end to really get out the quarterback. What Dante said is he's going to get exposed this year. People don't realize that Ryan Kerrigan did a lot of the trench work for him. Listen, there's one knock on Chase Young and why he wouldn't be number 2 or number 1. Number 1's ridiculous, but the one knock on him is twice in his career he has not came up in huge moments. The playoffs versus Tampa Bay, he wasn't great, and versus Clemson, he wasn't great. You guys want to call him Clowney 2.0? You want to call him? You want to say he's going to get exposed? I think you're out of your mind. You're talking about a guy that's huge, that's fast, that's strong. This guy is oh my, he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. I would.
Is he your favorite non-Eagle?
Yes.
Okay.
Not close either.
I didn't think it was. I was just verifying.
Yes. Chase Young's my 3.
Chase Young is also my 3. Literally all the reasons that you just said. Plus, I think he's in a position where he's going to have the most opportunity. I'm not saying that Chase Young is the most talented. I'm not saying he's the 3rd most talented player on this list. I think he can be. But when you're in that situation where you have Montez Sweat on the other side of you and you got Daron Payne and you got Jonathan Allen in the middle, who are you going to double team there? You double team Chase Allen. All these other guys are going to go crazy. And Montez Sweat is a great pass rusher, and maybe next year, depending on how this season goes, he might be even on our list next year. That Washington defense is insane, and especially now that they got William Jackson, they're going to have more coverage sacks. Their numbers are going to be astronomical this year. Chase Young is going to have a great year. I got on my 3.
Not to mention they got Jamin Davis in the draft.
Young will draw that double team though out of all those players.
I agree.
Of course.
We got to get through this track. Who's your 2?
My number 2 is Myles Garrett. This is I think he's the best edge rusher in the league. It's a shame that we haven't seen him in a full season. 2 years ago, we know what happened with the whole helmet thing. And then last year, we just didn't see the best of him after he had COVID. Before that, he was looking like he was in the running, for Defensive Player of the Year. He was having that kind of year. And I think this year, hopefully he's got his win back and everything. Talented player. I think he's going to have a great show in this upcoming season.
Yeah, my number 2 is Myles Garrett, too. Big, strong, fast, athletic. Gets to the quarterback. Has a mean streak. That's exactly what I want out of a defensive lineman. I want a dirtball. I want a scumbag on my defensive line. Sorry, I do. Give me Albert Hainsworth in his prime. I don't care. Step on people. That's what defensive linemen should do. Give me your 2.
I have Myles Garrett number 2.
Yeah.
To Cottrell's point, I think
God everyone got it right.
I think you saw him actually kind of turn the corner last year and actually kind of really put it together mentally, be there the entire year. I still love the fact that he smacked Mason Rudolph with a helmet.
Me too.
It's one of my most favorite things in the world. I don't care what anybody says. Mason Rudolph said something crazy at the bottom of that pile for that to happen.
And every one of us got it right because the greatest defensive player maybe of our generation, maybe could be one of the greatest defensive players of all time. Aaron Donald is one.
Aaron Donald's number 1.
Yes, Aaron Donald.
I'm glad you guys all got it right because I was scared. I'm like, somebody better not say
He was the only one I worried about. I thought it was a chance he put Garrett 1. See how homer we were going to go tonight.
Look, I like Garrett. I love him, but Aaron Donald, I'd be a fool.
We are going to offensive line next week. Offensive line should be a lot of fun.
Be a less boring one.
And then wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks.
Tight ends.
Well, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, quarterbacks.
Oh, we were lumping them together.
No, we're not. We agree we were doing something.
Wide receivers, tight ends.
Oh, okay.
Running backs, quarterbacks.
Gotcha. Okay.
We'll do tight ends after O-line. We'll kind of like push our way out.
Punctuation, man.
I needed a comma. I needed a little pause. I don't have a you got to be kidding me this week. Actually, let me read off his list real quick.
Let's see now.
Aaron Donald 1, Khalil Mack 2. Khalil Mack 2, Joey Bosa 3. He doesn't watch enough Eagles football. Fletcher Cox.
Dante, you drunk, bud?
TJ Watt. Chris Jones, Chandler Jones, Zadarius Smith, Cameron Jordan.
So he is like...
Yeah.
Woof. Missing some big names.
Yeah, well, he just completely leaves Chase Young off. Like, I don't know, like Chase Young, Trevor Lawrence. If Chase Young, Trevor Lawrence, and like who's another one he really hates on? Like walking to a bar.
Like the funny one again. Me and you talked about this the other day. The Trevor Lawrence thing is funny because he's 99.9% going to be wrong. But if he's right, he's been on record with it from the get go.
Could you imagine if he's John Elway though? How bad it's gonna look in 5 years?
Either that take will haunt him forever. I told you that.
That's my point.
that take will follow him around for the rest of his life.
You're the one that said John Elway stunk. Like, could you imagine that guy? Like,
not the hill I want to be on.
No. So I don't have You Gotta Be Kidding Me this week. Does anybody?
I do. I have one. Jackson Hayes got arrested. Jackson Hayes is the New Orleans Pelicans center. He's a former top 10 pick. Got picked number 8 like 2 or 3 years ago. And it's,
fought a cop, didn't he?
Yeah, he's fighting a cop. Literally, this is a kid who was a former top 10 pick who's never averaged more than 10 points in a game. You're literally barely hanging. You're clinging on an NBA roster spot, and you're out there fighting cops. What are you doing? You are probably not going to be on the team next year.
Nope.
And chances are you're going to get cut anyway because you weren't performing. So, Jackson Hayes.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
William, do you have one?
Not really. I just had the funny Medvedev thing from the Olympics. I don't know if anybody saw it yesterday, but it's been apparently extremely hot and humid in Tokyo. He had to play during the day yesterday. He was literally like melting on the court. And he started getting to the umpire, and he pretty much told the umpire, "If I die, you're responsible." Like, it was more funny. And if you know him, he's kind of got like a very dry sense of humor personality. But after the match, he kind of got into it with a reporter, and I thought he was really off base. There was, if you're not familiar, the Russians they're not really playing under Russia. They're playing under the Russian Olympic Committee because of the doping scandal. So the reporter just asked him, very not confrontational, but she was like, is it different, like, not being able to play really under your flag because of the doping scandal, like, blah, blah, blah. And he got, like, real snippy and, like, got her, like, thrown out of the press conference. So for me, when it was proven that it was, there's a really good documentary on it called Izrica, if you want to watch it. It was literally sponsored by the government. Like, they gave steroids and performance-enhancing blood doping, everything to everybody but the figure skaters and the gymnasts because they knew it would show up easier. So a reporter just doing her job, and it's the first Olympics since it's happened, Summer Olympics since it's happened. So for me, the question wasn't out of bounds at all, and she wasn't implying he was part of it or anything like that, and he freaked out just because of how hot and bothered he was because of the match, which he won, by the way. So him getting her kicked out of the press conference for me was way too much. So this week for me, it's Medvedev.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Just because both of you guys gave one, I'll give a quick one. Tokyo Olympic Committee for putting cardboard beds. I know I could have used that last week, but I'm going to use it now. Come on.
It's because they don't want people having sex.
Come on, you gotta be kidding
I
me.
don't care. It's stupid. You're Olympic. You're going to go to Olympics and you have worse than a friggin' Motel 6? Like, come on. Stop. Show 42. Show Jackie Robinson. Maybe we're all way 42. Great show. Anything else? Any final words? Any final thoughts?
Just real quick, I wanted to throw out before track and field starts. Just throw out my favorites coming up. I like Trayvon Bromell in the 100, Michael Norman in the 400, Grant Holloway 110 hurdles, Rye Benjamin 400 hurdles. On the women's side, I like Shelly Ann Fraser Price in the 100, Gabby Thomas in the 200, Sydney McLaughlin 400 meter hurdles, and a sleeper in the long jump, Tara Davis.
Is Alex and Felix medal?
If she's on a relay, yes.
Okay, so you don't think she's medal at 200?
I don't think. No, she didn't make it 200. 400.
400.
I don't think she medals.
Okay. I don't think so either. I just want to see what you thought.
Any final thoughts?
No, I don't got anything crazy this week.
Happy birthday, Billy Brancato.
Happy birthday, Billy.
Happy birthday.
And that's it for us. Show 42 signing out.